to pay extremely close attention. The rules are changing, and if you don't know this information, you're more likely to be on the losing side than the winning side. Excited. Gracias. Michael Saint, Katrina Ruth, Brian Dice, the one and only Russell Brunson. Sonia Riccati, we have Holly here, Todd Brown, Open Fraser, I feel like Jeff Swan, Neil Patel, Dennis Hughes. I think that there's a high risk of mass extinction of internet business.
Millions of businesses, big and small, closed, pushing us into the worst global recession in history.
We're writing on the wall. Things are changing. Things are happening.
Change in the industry that's forcing people to evolve and adapt and basically die.
You need to see this to understand it. Something like that will happen. You can write it in blood.
If there was a tactic or strategy that you're most excited about, what would it be? We can go as deep as you want.
I call this content sprouting. These strategies work for any social media platform. If you believe it's a good idea, you should stick with it.
When your business becomes part of someone's identity, that's when they stick. This is really crazy. I don't know if I understand this with you. Waste the least amount of money to find that winner. That's how you win for $1 a day.
Now, I have people that are on my list for 2 years that are still looking at email.
To get this many amazing people in a room, just amazing. We're about to take you behind the scenes. This is amazing. If you want to know what's happening in the future, tune in now.
And we're live, so hopefully you can hear me. Let me know that you can hear me. Great to see all of you already joining me. And let's see, just getting situated here. I guess you can see my laptop a little bit, so let's lower that. Very cool. So today we're talking about biohacking and business, kind of a spur of the moment decision on my part of what to cover. And today I'm going to share with you a lot of the stuff that I do, some of which you might know already, some of which I'm sure none of you know about. And so I'm really kind of excited to share a lot of these tools, strategies, ways of thinking, etc. Right? There are so many things that you can do for yourself to improve your performance, to improve the way that you think, to improve your outlook, to improve your productivity. And so to think that how you currently are is your optimum, to me, is always problematic, right? That, the first time that we put a headline on a sales page, right? To think that that is the best headline that we could ever come up with, that we can't test our way to a better headline, is somewhat, in my opinion, absurd, right? That no matter what we start a campaign with, odds are there's going to be certain things that we can improve to make better. And the only way that we figure that out is with testing. And with biohacking, there's a common phrase that N equals 1. And if you remember back in the days of science classes or statistics, N equals 1, that's your set, that's your sample set. And so N equals 1 means there's only one in your sample, and that's you. And if you aren't exploring ways to be better, to think better, to perform better, and all of the elements that encompass that, then odds are is that not only are you not getting better, but you're probably getting worse, because our things atrophy over time, our muscles atrophy over time if they're not used, and our brain's ability to do neuroplasticity. The benefit of that is that as you learn more, your brain is molds to wherever you're going. And the bad news of that is that if you're not pushing your brain to go better, further, faster, etc., then what's happening is that it's degrading. So really, we each and every one of us have a choice on how we want to be going forward, and whether we're on a steady incline, getting better and better each and every day, or if we are on a steady decline, getting worse and worse. And I can tell you that I turned 50 on Saturday, and I feel the same as I did when I was in my 30s. I don't feel any different. I don't know when I'm going to hit that aging wall and not be at my best, but I certainly don't feel that way today. And I'd say that the only thing that I notice that's different about my own abilities is that a long time ago, I used to be able to go multiple days without sleep. Nowadays, that is no longer a doable process. So let's see who's with us. And also on Thursday, I haven't even introduced myself. I haven't done any of that stuff, so we'll do that too. But on Thursday, either Matt is going to cover the whole time, or I'm going to do the first hour, and then I'm going to hand off to Matt. I'm doing a Shark Tank kind of panel with Mr. Wonderful for a program that Kim Walsh-Phillips is doing. And so it's my second time being on a panel with Mr. Wonderful, who is my favorite shark, so to speak. So excited about that. And I'm surrounded by some of my toys today. So I'm excited to share them with you. Also, because of the pool incident, I didn't have the opportunity to record the how to scale video. So I'm either going to have to do that either on this live stream, which I probably won't do, or on the next, or after this live stream, which I might end up doing. I spent yesterday with Mike Filsaine for a few hours. We are launching the Groove Steal Our Winners sometime, I think this week, if not very early next week. And we are super excited about that. And part of the Groove SOW that will also be part of the Steal Our Winners, just the regular Steal Our Winners, is a conversation between Mike Filsaine and I about the contributions and what we think about them and how we would use them. So that we did it for this month, and we will probably be loading it up into the platform in the next couple of days. And so looking forward to sharing that with you guys. In addition to that, we've gotten a lot of people that have reached out after we sent out an email about being a affiliate for Steal Our Winners. So really excited to have so many of you who want to promote us. So thank you for that. And Michelle will be reaching out to many of you very shortly. So with that said, let me first say that my name is Rich Sheffrin. I own a company called Strategic Profits. The flagship product at the moment is a continuity program called Steal Our Winners, which is basically, in my opinion, it's the equivalent of being able to go to the top masterminds each and every month, get the top strategies that are currently working that nobody knows about, get them delivered to your door each and every month, having me vet them for you, having me extract out of them all the details so that you can leverage the current strategies and tactics that are crushing it, which give you a great competitive advantage over others. And so that's Steal Our Winners. And very shortly, we will be launching the coaching program. I know you've heard me say that before, but we have a team meeting on Friday where we're going over that. And I'm actually super excited about getting the coaching program back out into the market. As many of you know, I've coached a lot of the people that are well known today and helped a lot of people go from, $10,000 a month to $300,000 a month, $15,000 a month to $1 million in 2 months. So I'm good at that, and I'd like to keep doing it. And so I'm excited about getting the coaching program back off the ground. And that's probably a month out or so. I'll also be in California at the end of this month. I'll be in San Diego first for Flight Club. That is a mastermind put on by Glenn Ledwell and Alex Catoni, I think is the way her last name is pronounced, but I'll be doing that mastermind there in San Diego. Then I'll be spending some time heading from San Diego to LA and making some stops, hopefully see Molly Mahoney, Jordan Menard, Nick Shackelford, etc. And then in addition to that, then head further north and spend some time with Jay Abraham. And of course, when I'm in San Diego, I'll also be spending time with Wes Watson. So I'm excited about that. Really looking forward to that trip, although not so much looking forward to being in California. I think I've been spoiled living in Florida and just having the freedom that we have here. So as many of you know, or as all of you know, my name is Rich Sheffrin. I try to make these live streams that we do twice a week, Tuesdays from 2 to 4, Thursdays from 6 to 8, as much of a dialogue between you and I, as opposed to me just sitting here kind of talking to myself and you listening. That's a lot less fun for you and me and less beneficial for both of us. So please interact with me. Ask me your questions. Let me know where you're watching from. If you feel so inclined, please share it. Sharing is one of the key metrics that both YouTube looks at, and we're broadcasting live to YouTube as well. And this time also broadcasting to Periscope and Facebook. All of them look at how many people are sharing, how many people are commenting, how many people are emoting, how many people are giving a thumbs up, how many people are subscribing, etc. And so that the more that you engage with me, the more benefit I get and the more I want to help you. And if you share it, please put #shared so I can thank you personally. And let's see where we go. Let's say hello to everyone. And then I guess we'll get into some of the tech, the supplements, and overall just stuff that I do to be at my best. So we got John Sinclair in the house. Good to see you, my friend. John, good afternoon. Deb, good to see you. And Jason in Tampa, good to see you. And that's me saying hello to John. That's me saying hello to John. That's me saying hello to John. I guess when I comment now, it comments both in Facebook and YouTube and Periscope. That's interesting. Another one. Cool. Hey, Rich. Duran Dessa from Munich. Good to see you, Duran. And shared to my group and ClickFunnels group. Well, John, you are the man. I appreciate you tremendously. Hello, Lisa from Miami Beach. Hello, Renan. Good to see you here from Brazil. And J-Rock, thank you for letting me know that I'm coming in loud and clear. And Verlens, good to see you, my friend. And Mina, good to see you. And Dynamo Foe, that's a cool name. When the master speaks, you got to listen. Well, thank you very much. Miyuki Hiroshima, are you there, my friend? Brian from Houston's in the house. Richard Paul Smith from Salisbury, England, in the house. Giancarlo. Rich, are you jumping on the pool again? I will. I jump in the pool every day almost, but not while I'm doing this live stream. Happy birthday. Thank you. It is Saturday, March 13th is the day. Not belated. You're early, J-Rock. March 13th. So I have what? 4 more days. A lot of sex. That's what keeps Richard looking young. Yeah, not the case. Happy birthday, Rich. I turned 50 February 8th. Very cool. Very cool. Well, happy birthday to you, Dynamo Foe. Hey, Facebook user, if this is you, then you have to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, and it'll then ask you to authorize StreamYard showing your name. Hello, Adam, in Syosset, New York. Wow, Syosset, New York. You know, Adam, I grew up in Great Neck, New York, just a hop, skip, and a jump from where you are right now, and actually had a bunch of cousins who lived in Syosset. So know the area well, Adam. Good to see you. Duran, thank you. Not belated. It's in advance. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Nina. Good to see you in Atlanta, Georgia. What's SOW? SOW is only the best kept secret of online marketing. If you saw the promo that started this That's what Steal Our Winners is, and I just explained it, so hopefully you got it. Joe, hey Rich, I have a nootropic consult last year with your guy. It led to a pretty simple stack, but it has been amazing for focus and mastery. Well, Joe, that's awesome. I am so happy to hear that. And I'm curious, Joe, like what difference has it made other than you getting better at focus and feeling it, I guess, easier to master new material? How has that impacted your business? I'm curious, and I'd love it if you'd be willing to share. Happy birthday, my man. Hope the second half of your life is even greater than the first one. Yeah, me too. Although hard for me to imagine that that's possible because I've been very fortunate the last 50 years. 50 years. Wow. Like it gets weird when you are over the age of when for me, at least, it's weird because I remember my dad in his 40s because he was like 30 years older than me. So by the time he was my age, 50, yeah, I was already in my 20s. And so it just seems more real. I don't know if that makes any sense. Yay. Yes, I am. Yay. And can only pop in for a few minutes today. Well, Nina, I appreciate your presence anytime that you're willing to share it. Hey, Louise, thank you for the happy birthday in advance. I'm going to smoke a special edition Cohiba in your honor. Well, I am envious of that. Hello, Emmy. Can't wait to learn on this live stream. Very cool to see you on YouTube. And Dynamo Foe is chiming in from Dublin, Ireland, home of Conor McGregor, or at least Ireland is. And I don't know if you can see it, but that fuzzy thing in between the two green lights there. Whoops. Wow. There. No, there. That is Conor McGregor's glove. It was a gift from Agora. Angel. Oh, wow. So, no, that's YouTube. Okay, from Chicago. Good to see you, Angel. Thank you, Nina, so much for sharing. You are my hero. And Ed Sanchez in Fort Lauderdale, just really close to where I am in Delray Beach. And good evening to you, Ingrid, in the Netherlands. Glad that you could join us. And Tiana from Reno. Mr. Wonderful is my favorite chart too, and you're my favorite business person overall. Have an awesome birthday. Well, thank you, Tiana. Tiana Forrest. You know who lives in Reno? John Carlton lives in Reno. But he's like quarantining himself because I guess he's got some pre-existing conditions or something. Deb, be safe in Cali. They are still way behind us in the Sunshine State. Yeah, no doubt. And you know, I was asked the other day by a friend of mine, like, what am I going to do about the what is it? Jesus Christ. Not the quarantine, but the vaccination. And I've not been in any rush to get vaccinated. I also think, and this is, I guess, bro science, or, this is a lay person's viewpoint on it. But the first two vaccines are totally new technology, right? They're like RNA. I don't really understand it, but they're totally new. Whereas the Johnson & Johnson vaccine that just came out that only requires one shot is similar as far as structure as the way all vaccines happened prior, which is giving people a lower dosage of the actual virus. And so my preference personally is to go down the Johnson & Johnson route because I just don't feel like there's a lot of science yet on this new type of vaccine. And as someone who has suffered, not any great suffering, but has suffered from the unknown effects of medication, two things stand in my mind as examples. One is that my mom took amphetamines during her pregnancy with me. So actually she weighed less the day after she gave birth than when she got pregnant, and walked out of the hospital in a miniskirt. And could be some relation to the fact that I love stimulants. I don't know. The fact that I was taking them in the womb. And then also, I think it was tetracycline. It was an antibiotic that they used to use a long time ago for children, especially if they had ear infections and things like that. And I did. And lo and behold, tetracycline stains your adult teeth. So all my adult teeth came in gray. I had to go to the dentist every week for over a year for them to try and get them somewhat white. And they ain't that white, unfortunately. But they came in gray. And so I've had 2 times where the medical community hadn't like caught up with, well, they didn't know what long-term effects were going to be. And I'd prefer not to add a 3rd time for this next 50 years. Rich, can people get your reports, including Internet Business Manifesto? The link from a video didn't work and I couldn't find it on the site to update. Yes, we can certainly do that, Nina. I think I made it. I put a note on my board, but I don't see it here anymore. So let me just make another note right now. Free. Yeah, maybe what we'll do is we'll have Sandra post one each day as a way for her to interact with the community. First, the Internet Business Manifesto, then the missing chapter, then the final chapter, then the Attention Age Doctrine 1, then the Attention Age Doctrine 2, then the Maven Manifesto, then the Uncertainty Syndrome, and depending on how I feel, maybe I'll release the unreleased prophecy, and then also the, I forget what I titled the one on demand that I never released. But we'll certainly get the ones that were released out. Advance happy birthday. Thank you, John. Tuning in from Austin. Got the antenna turned east to catch this live broadcast. Well, you rock, Sean. Thank you for that. And thank you for that idea. It's sitting on my wall as well. And I've heard that Austin is increasingly becoming more liberal, and that a couple of friends of mine have told me recently they think the next hotspot for internet marketing is going to be in Brickell or Miami. That a bunch of people are moving out of San Diego, which was an internet marketing hotspot. And a bunch of people are moving out of Austin now that Austin is being flooded by people from California. So a bunch of people are moving here. Not here, Delray, but further south in Brickell and Miami. A half century. Yep. Well, what about you, Glenn? How old are you, Glenn? We look around the same age. Happy birthday. Thank you, Mina. Denise, hello, Rich. Taking some nootropics now, actually, thanks to the interview on SOW. I hear you on still feeling 30s when you're over 50. So, Denise, what are you taking? I'd be interested to hear. Gives me control over my ADH tendencies. I'm a copywriter, so being able to research, synthesize, and write without losing concentration has been a big revenue booster. Well, that is awesome, Joe. Are you willing to share the stack that you're taking? I'm curious if there's any subglutamine in it, because that helps with verbal fluency. And I would imagine there is some stimulant or dopogenic kind of nootropic in that. Wow, cool. Conor McGregor. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a great present. It's actually signed too. They tried to get me a meet and greet with him, but that was just not going to happen. Good afternoon to you too, Mohammed. My book is Meditation, Not Medicine, Fed Lots of Drugs by My New York Doctor Father. Okay. What type? That's your book. So what do you do? I would assume you teach people meditation, which I do. I like Sam Harris's Waking Up app. That's what I like to use for that. My mom drank a lot of coffee when she was pregnant with me. Yeah, not the same, my friend. Not the same. I had to go through amphetamine withdrawal the day I was born. The pending Novavax vaccine might be one to read up on. I don't think it's too far off. Oh, very cool. Well, what about the Johnson & Johnson one, Joe? And like I said, I'm not that educated on it, so please don't assume that I have any kind of educated opinion on any of this stuff. I haven't been looking at it. Perfect. That would be awesome if you shared them. I just updated a YouTube video where you talk about all of them, and we should share that too. You've given golden tips as usual, so anyone can replicate. Very cool. All right, definitely we'll do that, Nina. We can chat offline. Austin is the San Francisco of Texas. It certainly is becoming that. That is a good analogy. Dr. Vogelman, we should get together for a breakfast or a coffee or a lunch while I'm in town. Like that. Happy birthday from James Markey. Thank you, James. And glad to know that you agree with me. You could release the unreports on SOW for us. Oh, that is a good idea. I could release them, actually talk about why I didn't release it, what I was thinking. I like that. Good idea, Renan. It's like reports, Facebook, unreleased reports. Reports, SOW. I'll have to look at it later, but yeah, I'll look at it later, Nina. If you could message me that link, that would be great. Well, you probably are not. You're probably gone. I'm a half a century older than my 13-year-old stepson. Keeps me young. A great big happy birthday to you, Rich. Thanks, Dr. Vogelman. Thank you, Sir Richard Pongretloan. Happy birthday. Thank you, my friend. I am unfortunately overeducated on this stuff. Former pharmaceuticals rep here. Yeah, I hear you. It's the most simple stack imaginable, my friend. 250 milligrams of L-theanine with 100 milligrams of modafinil. Both take simultaneously with morning coffee. So, that's a great stack. For those who don't know, L-theanine is very good for anti-anxiety. It's somewhat of a depressant. So generally most anti-anxiety meds are somewhat depressants, just so people are aware of that. There are a few chemicals out there that are both anti-anxiety and stimulant in and of themselves, which we'll get to. But L-theanine is a very useful supplement to stack with anything that is a stimulant. So whether it's Adderall, whether it's caffeine, or whether it's modafinil, and modafinil is the generic name for Provigil. I don't know if you can see that, but that's modafinil. And modafinil doesn't give you the euphoric, like that euphoric feel that an amphetamine can, but does totally knock out sleepiness and increases focus. So very cool, Joel. Very cool. Definitely very cool. Then we definitely will get together, Dr. Vogelman. Love that idea. Yeah, that would be cool. Angel Garcia, what nootropic you recommend for verbal fluency? Well, it's part of a stack, really, and it's subglutamine. I'm pretty sure that's the way you pronounce it. I didn't bring that up. I have like a ridiculous number of like nootropics. Subglutamine. Yep. Subglutamine is the name of it. And I get my subglutamine from Nootropics Depot, and it's a derivative of vitamin B1. And in France, it's used to treat symptoms of weakness or fatigue. It's also sold as a dietary supplement. Subglutamine was discovered in Japan as part of an effort to develop useful thiamine derivatives. That's at least what it says in Wikipedia. And subglutamine is a nootropic that I take. If I went into everything I take, this would literally be a 24-hour live stream. So we're not going to do that. But I am going to share with you the ones that are the most, that make the most difference. Amazing idea releasing the document on Steal Our Winners. I just updated my membership. Love SOW. Thanks, John. I've been diagnosed with ADHD 1.5 months ago. Since then, I've been taking Vyvanse and Wellbutrin. My focus, productivity, energy, and overall satisfaction with life have skyrocketed. Well, that's awesome, man. Especially if you can get that from Vyvanse and Wellbutrin. They're both, at least for me, they were both a lot less effective than Adderall and Lexapro. Take a small dose of Lexapro. And I don't take Adderall daily. I think it's a really good thing not to. So your body doesn't fully acclimate to it ever. Even when I took it in excess, which I did take it in excess about 10 years ago, I would take the weekends off as a way of allowing my body to reset. L-theanine clears my sinuses, helps me sleep and lower my anxiety. Interesting. Ed, how much do you take of it? I take about 750 milligrams of L-theanine at night. I don't know if that's too much, though. I take aniracetam. I take N-acetyl L-tyrosine. I take that, too. Was taking 9-ME-BC, but it gave me headaches. Wow, interesting. Added ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is really good. And I think modafinil is next. Wow, very cool, Denise. Sounds like you are going down the biohacker highway. Very, very cool. Kim will attest to the fact that I take like 100 pills every morning. But I like it. And I take everything I take for a reason. And I am fighting the battle right now not to wear reading glasses. That's the big thing for me. Provigil was my friend when driving through Costa Rica at night after a long flight. I could understand that. I tried a Drafinel for sleepiness, but no luck. Any other useful wakefulness ideas? I have sleep apnea and use a CPAP. Ed, we'll get to some because sleep is critical, right? Like you can't dose your way out of a sleep deficit for any length of time. You can do it for a day or two. But a sleep deficit will always win out over time. So the idea is to improve your sleep. The racetams didn't help me much, but I did try a few with Ryan's advice. Got ya. They all are different. Different racetams for different purposes, right? Aniracetam has a little bit of a happiness vibe. Phenylpiracetam, much stronger on the wakefulness side, but can lead to irritation if you take too much of it. Like you become easily irritated. Oxiracetam can often help with self-discipline, like get to it kind of overall vibe. Lots of different stuff out there in the racetams. 200 milligrams for L-theanine works for me. Yeah, you're a normal human being. Good for you, Ed. Worth mentioning that a consult with Ryan was inexpensive and worth many times what I paid. Yeah, I mean, it's really cheap. And we'll definitely bring Ryan back on here sometime soon. And if Ryan happens to hear this, reach out. Yeah, ashwagandha is really good stuff. Sleep does heal. And we all have biochemical individuality. No one size fits all. Yeah, that's totally true. And for those of you who know me well, like my friends know that, like my friends tell me all the time that I really should make sure that my body is available for research after I die. Because most things, I need a horse dosage to feel anything. And I've been told by some medical experts that I probably have an overactive liver. And so my liver, it cleans my blood more than most, which maybe that's why. I have really no idea. But I also, Kim and I, a couple years ago, went to a client of mine. His office is in Kansas City. He does the full body scans that will pick up anything that's going on in your body, including like it's a virtual colonoscopy and everything else. They can see how much plaque you have in your arteries. And the doctors were blown away that I had 0 plaque on my arteries, which is not usual for someone at that time in their 40s who drinks Jack Daniels and smokes cigars. And they said, well, whatever you're doing, just keep doing that. While Kim, on the other hand, who takes care of her body much more than I do, she did not get that. They didn't tell her to keep doing what she was doing. So she was not happy because she was thinking that I was going to get my comeuppance, and I did not. Denise, modafinil has been fabulous for me. I love the fact that it's given me no side effects, and I take it 5 or 6 mornings a week, albeit just a half a tab. Yeah. Horse tranquilizers. Yeah. Ketamine is a horse tranquilizer. Done that. All right. So where should we start? All right. Well, let's talk about some of these I haven't used in a little while. And it was actually, I was glad that we scheduled to talk about this to actually get me to relocate everything, because we've been doing a lot of cleaning out stuff, as I've mentioned, with the personal organizer being here. So let's start, I guess, with one that I actually have shown before. And that is so let's talk about sleep, right? Like, sleep is obviously one of the most critical things. And most people don't get enough of it, and they pay a price. And so I actually am a big fan of the Oura Ring. I find that the information that it gives me is superior to my Apple Watch, but I use both of these to track my sleep. And for me, what I have found is waking up at the same time every day is a game changer. And when I say every day, I mean every day, 7 days a week. My belief is that your body naturally acclimates to pretty much anything that it can acclimate to, but it has to have a pattern in order to acclimate to. And so if you wake up at the same time every day, your body then recognizes, well, okay, that's the time that we get up. So you'll find yourself naturally getting sleepier, just because, right? The most important habit probably is waking up at the same time every day, because that then starts a cascade effect of a lot of different things happening. As far as, I mean, it's great if you can go to bed at the same time every night and wake up at the same time, but if you had to choose one or the other, it's a lot easier to make yourself wake up at the same time every day, and then kind of falling asleep at night will start taking care of itself. Now, once you wake up, you want to get light into your system as quickly as possible, because that then helps your body know that it's time to transition. And you can do that by getting in sunlight. I do a few things, right? I will go for a walk with Kim. That's what we've been doing recently, especially right now, because my elliptical machine is broken. So I can't get on my elliptical and read like a demon. And my hand surgery, I need to do some further exploration on my jump rope. But so right now I'm just walking with Kim and using my broken elliptical until they get me a new part. But I have used this at times when my sleep has gotten really bad. This is what's called, let me turn it on. This is what's called a green light. Green light, according to at least the research studies that were around this, I don't know if you can see it because it's so bright, but there you go, right? These green lights, actually, if you wear this for 20 minutes in the morning, supposedly green light impacts you even more than blue light. And so it's another way to reset your biological clock as far as when is wake time, right? So I'm not going to wear this too much right now because I don't want my body thinking that it's early in the morning. But this is called Pegasus, and it's smart sleep glasses, and you wear them every morning when you first get up, and it resets your clock. It like makes sure that you're sleeping on schedule. So it's a pretty cool tool. It definitely has helped me at times. If it didn't, I would tell you that for sure. And I'm actually happy that I got this back out. Now, oftentimes after I do that, well, I haven't done this recently, like I said, but I plan on getting back to this. But I've been sleeping pretty well lately, so that's been kind of nice, except waking up at like 1 or 2 in the morning pretty frequently, actually, but then fall right back to sleep. Also, this is a Juve light. I have one that is a full wall that's in the house, and that I do every morning. And I've been really sold on photobiomodulation, right? Photobiomodulation. Photobiomodulation is using red light and infrared light. And I do 10 minutes front, 10 minutes back every day. And I've been so sold on it that, yeah, like I wish I could get my family to do it. They don't. They think I'm a nut, and I probably am. But I will do the Juve daily. I do feel a difference. I first started using a Juve at a place in New York City called Hacked on 6th Avenue. 6th Avenue and between 23rd and 24th. And while I was going to Hacked and using the Juve as well as some of the other biohacking devices they had, I bumped into quite a few gentlemen that had been referred to Hacked to do the red light because it increases testosterone, and they were being sent there by their fertility doc because they needed to get their testosterone up, but they needed to get it up naturally. And so I was sold on that because I've always had a low testosterone. And in addition to that, it fuels your mitochondria. So it gives you more energy. Supposedly it keeps you looking young. I don't know if that's true or not, but if any of them are true, whether it's more energy, whether it's testosterone, or any of the other benefits that if you do a search for photobiomodulation, you'll see a ridiculous number of research studies on. Those are pretty core as far as my everyday routine. Now, I got to like look at this long list that I made. And obviously, guys, if you have questions, by all means, throw them my way. All right, so let's see here. So I showed you the green light and I showed you the Juve. Okay. The next thing that I also use off and on right now, I am using it and I'm using it consistently because I felt I should and I needed to, is a device. It's micro current stimulation, right? This is what it looks like. It's a Fisher-Wallace. That's what the FW stands for. And it's microcurrent that zaps the brain. And it is... it decreases cortisol levels and increases serotonin and dopamine levels. It is used for depression-resistant or medication-resistant depression. And I've always struggled with just a low-base depression. So I do a lot of things to not be depressed. It would probably be overkill for anyone that is starting baseline, but I'm not starting at baseline. So, you know, I do these kinds of things, right? So this, you put on this headband here, right? I look like a tennis player or a freak. And this is the device, right? Normally I would wet these sponges, but I'm not going to turn it on right now. And you would put one here and one here. And for 20 minutes, then you turn it on and you feel it. Oh, well, I did turn it on. There we go. And it's actually zapping my brain right now. It's something, like I said, that when I first got this, I got this years ago. When I first got this, I was really struggling with depression and I couldn't medicate my way out of it. I just it wasn't working for me. And this did. And so huge fan of this, the Fisher-Wallace. They're going public. Don't know anything else about the company. I can't say anything good or bad about the company. Bought this device for like $700, needed a prescription. I think nowadays you can buy it for $300 without a prescription. Great tech tool. If you struggle with any kind of depression, whether it's severe or light, that is somewhat treatment unresponsive. So they have some great testimonials from a couple of different PhDs and doctors. One, a professor of psychiatry at Columbia University, if I remember correctly. And so just a very cool tool. I'm a fan of it. I don't think it's for everyone, but if you think you have a naturally low-grade depression, not anything that keeps you out of bed, but maybe just prevents you from having as good of a time when other people all around you are having a really good time, this has been helpful to me. So that's Fisher-Wallace microcurrent stimulation, right? So that's that. All right. I told you about... Okay, yeah. So I do, just to go back to the Oura Ring for a second, I use this tremendously to track not only my sleep, but the different stages of sleep, plus my heart rate variability, plus how restless or restful my sleep was, as well as what time I should be going to bed, whether I have a sleep debt, If I'm not feeling well on a given day, you know, is my temperature raised at all? Because it tracks your temperature daily. How's my respiratory rate? All those kinds of things. Yes. So Dr. Vogelman, well, let me go back here for a second. So let's see. Wait, let's see. I think I missed a few here. Once upon a time. Yep. That's the horse tranquilizer. I love biohacking, but one has to be careful with it. In my case, something as simple as coffee during fasting gave me vitamin deficiencies, vitamin D being most affected, even though I was taking 10,000 IUs daily. Wow. That's interesting. You must have a weird, that must be, yeah. I mean, everybody responds differently. I actually am fasting right now. The last time I ate was Sunday night. And I love fasting. I find it very easy to fast. And sometimes I wish I never had to eat. It would just, life would be easier. I'm very much an all or nothing guy. Moderation is the hard part for me. But I agree with you totally, Luis, that people really like the N equals 1, the idea that you're experimenting on yourself, and you have to be very aware of what you're doing and whether you feel better or worse, and you know, do the research on your own. Adrafinil metabolizes to modafinil, so they say, right? And I guess that's what might be true. But like, if it was a 1-to-1, obviously they would take adrafinil and probably make that a prescription too. So I read you need to do 1 day on and 1 day off to keep the liver enzymes at normal levels. That's why modafinil is a better choice. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Regular sleep patterns are crucial to overall health. Agreed. Yeah, I mean, when I was at Harvard for one semester, I lived on the Radcliffe campus. My dorm was in North House, and in North House, it's a 3-floor dorm, and on the 3rd floor there were duplexes. So I lived in the duplex, and I didn't have a window. I had a sunlight. But the sunlight opened. This was pretty cool. And I moved my bed under there, and I started experimenting with sleep. And after that, experimented more and more with sleep. And I had gotten my sleep down to about 4 hours a night, slowly, always going to bed at the same time, always waking up at the same time. And I'd go to bed at 2 a.m. I'd wake up at 6 a.m. And I believe that at that time, I was less sleep deprived than sleeping 7 hours one night, 8 hours the next night, 6 hours the following night, like being sporadic, right? And this is just my belief. So just sharing what I believe to be true, but I have no research, no science, no nothing, right? That if you sleep, my belief is that if you sleep 4 hours a night every night, that eventually your body will acclimate, that your body figures out we only got 4 hours. So let's make sure that we get what is most needed. At least that's the way it worked for me. I didn't go down to 4 hours in one fell swoop. I would go down in 15-minute increments, and waking up earlier and earlier. Because at that time I had a fixed wake up time and sleep time. And I was functioning at a very good level. Of course, I had this crush on this girl. This was in my junior year in college, and had the biggest crush on her for like a year before that. And then we finally started going out, and the idea of getting out of bed at 6 a.m. Was the most unappealing thing I could think of after this girl that I'd been crushing on for so long finally was in my bed with me. So that kind of screwed that up. But yeah, it's the pattern that is what's important there. FDA still limits prescription Provigil to narcolepsy, I think. Frustrating. Yeah, but it also is off-label for ADD, Joe. And yeah, I don't personally, and I think most of you know, I lean right, more libertarian than anything else. I just don't like the government telling me what I can and cannot put in my body. It's my body, right? Totally get that there might be rules about selling stuff or making claims about stuff, but I feel like each and every one of us should be allowed to do whatever we want to our body. It is our body. Hey, Rich, tuning in late from Windermere. Hey, Jane. We'll watch the first part on replay later. Awesome interview with Caleb O'Dowd in this month's SOW. Thanks. Yeah, and it was so premonition, I guess, because we ran this webinar for Caleb like a week or two after I did that interview. And I'm sure there's stuff out there that performs better. I haven't seen it. When I released the manifesto, right, and I brought in 3.5 million in that first month, I had 35,000 people opt into my list. So I made $100 per opt-in, right? Caleb's webinar generated $130 per opt-in. Our share as the affiliate was $65 plus per opt-in or registration for the webinar. And so I had reached out to Caleb even before we were scheduled to promote his webinar. And I reached out to him and he's like, well, what do you want to interview me on? And I said, I want to interview you on creating offers because you are highly skilled at that. And I feel I have something to learn there. And if I feel I have something to learn, I imagine other people would benefit from it. So, Jane, yeah, thank you for the compliment. I think that Caleb's segment, I think Kenneth Yu's segment, and I think there's a few others on offers. And I want to get a few more because I think that each person has their own unique way of developing critical, over-the-top, amazing offers. And I want to make sure that I get all of the different slants for you guys. Sure was, Jane. Oh, cool. Glad that you agreed, Joe. And Jane, why do you pop back and forth between Windermere and DC? Out of curiosity. Cool. Waking up around 1 to 2 a.m. is often a sign of liver activity, according to traditional Chinese medicine. All right. So what do I do with that, Dr. Vogelman? Microcurrent is very effective in balancing acupuncture meridians. Are these acupuncture meridians, or is it just because these are the place that are closest to the brain? I don't know. What's the name of the one you're wearing around your head related to depression? Fisher Wallace. It's this right here. Fisher Wallace. Just Fisher Wallace. If you type in Fisher Wallace, you'll find it. You don't have to do the microcurrent device. Just found it. Fisher Wallace microstimulant. Yep. Intermittent fasting is great. Yeah, see, I don't do intermittent fasting as much as I do like 24-hour fast, 36-hour fast, 48 hours, 72 hours. The longest I've gone is 5 days. And each time I start, I really have no idea when I'm going to stop fasting. And generally, the only time I stop is not out of hunger. It's generally either I'm exhausted, like for whatever reason, my body is just not able to maintain the energy balance, or I'm so mouth bored that I just need something in my mouth. I am drinking coffee and I am chewing gum, so it's not like and I'm taking my supplements, but that's all I'm doing. And yeah, it's been now, I guess, 24 hours, another 12 hours, 11 to 36. So I'm at like about 40 hours and I feel great. Rich, if you're getting up at 1 a.m., then you should try our sound sleep program that Dr. Riggio created. I think we gave you access in the past. Well, I was just with Riggio yesterday. He was over at my house. Yeah, I don't think I have that one. Is this Jared? If it's Jared, yeah, shoot it over my way, my friend. Rich, any supplements for improving low testosterone? Yeah, there are a bunch. And well, so the Juve Light does, right? And you don't need a whole wall. You could have something like this size, but you have to hit your testicles with it. Not hit it, but like the light has to hit it. So that's one. But if you have a low testosterone, I have a low testosterone. I have the testosterone of like an 85-year-old man. I haven't taken any testosterone in like several months now. But I had been injecting it for well over a decade. You're not supposed to ever stop once you start. I'm really curious to see what my testosterone is these days. So I'm planning on getting it tested probably this week. But You should schedule, Giancarlo, a session with Ryan. Like the other commenter shared, he's very inexpensive. I think it's like $75 or $100. It's something like, it's not expensive at all. And he'll tell you all the different things that you could be doing to increase your testosterone. I remember that there used to be, and this is like funny, but there used to be a supplement line by Sylvester Stallone called In Stone, and they had a testosterone booster, and I never had any product work as well as that. It was noticeable. But like my experience is, anything that's noticeable that actually works in supplements, eventually the FDA clamps down on. So whether it's ephedrine for energy, or whether it was this In-Stone testosterone booster, some of the elements in it became not FDA cleared anymore. But I would talk to Ryan, because I'm certainly not an expert, because I went straight to first creams, then injections, and have done that for, like I said, a decade. Do I go to Hooters? No, I do not go to Hooters. I'm not allowed to go to Hooters. Hey, cool. Good to see you, my friend. Just participated in an insomnia study with Fisher-Waller device. Oh, wow. That's interesting, Bill. So how did it go? I don't really use it for insomnia. I've certainly read that some people do. Did it work for you? Did it not? I find that fascinating. And what is the odds of that? So very cool, Bill. Let's see. Wow. All right. So there are 0 people watching me on Periscope. There are 4 people in the Strategic Profits group. There are 50 people on my fan page watching. And then there are 7 people on YouTube. Just good to know. Let's see. Family is in Windermere. Planning to move down here from DC as soon as I can. Yeah, get out of the Northeast for sure. It helped me sleep longer. Interesting. Were you doing it twice a day, Bill? And if so, were you doing it at 4, 3, 2, like on the side with the settings? Very cool. So that's interesting. All right. So let's see. I told you about let's see. There's so many things I haven't told you about. Okay. Well, I told you about Fisher-Wallace. Okay. Next thing is light and sound. So I'm just going to grab something I have over here. I don't really use this anymore because I have a easier way of doing this, but this is a device. It's called the Light and Sound Machine. It's developed by, well, there's lots of them. And you would, this one's Mind Gear. I have another one by Photosonics. I have a whole bunch of these machines, but this is what it looks like. And you can actually program this, and the headphones are here, and the glasses are here, and these glasses have lights inside that strobe. And like the way binaural beats work is, let's say that there's a difference in the frequency that is the amount that you want the brainwave to be at. So hold on a second. I just lost you guys. Hopefully I didn't just mess up this live stream here. No, there it is. So for example, let's say, there are 4 states of brainwave states. There are probably more, but the 4 I know are beta, alpha, theta, and delta. So let's say that beta is anything above 12 hertz, and I'm just making that up because I don't remember. And so if the tones in your ears or the sounds maintain a 12 hertz difference consistently, no matter where they go, there's always a 12 hertz difference, then it's called entrainment. And the brain waves at 12 hertz become more and more pronounced. And if 12 hertz is, let's see, beta, alpha, theta, delta. Let's see. So beta is, let's see, 13 to 30 hertz. So yeah, so 14, you'd be in beta. And so if the tones have a 14 hertz difference consistently, always, whether it's going up and down, what happens is that your brain entrains to that, and those brain waves become more and more pronounced, and then it leads you into beta. We used to use these in my hypnosis centers. We weren't taking people into beta, we were taking people into theta. And this was a backup plan so that no matter what happened as far as what the hypnotist was doing, the client or patient would go into that state over time because we had the technology as a backup. Now, I don't like traveling with something like that. That's ridiculous, right? So I did find this company, Mind Gear, mind-gear.com, that has these glasses, which are the same as the glasses you just saw in that box, but these are Bluetooth enabled. So what this allows me to do is actually just be able to bring something like this with me and use my headphones from my iPad, my AirPods, and I can replicate that machine, which is pretty cool. And I'll just give you a quick show here of what this looks like. But so, I think I've shared with you before that Paul McKenna is my favorite hypnotist. He's someone who inspired me to become a hypnotist, and also someone I got to meet many times because he used to hang out in the same bar that I hung out in New York. And so let's just see. I'm just going to start this. And so he's the hypnotist that I listen to the most with this. I'll put on a hypnosis session, and I will oh, I didn't put the lights on. That might help. Oh, no, I did. All right, let's see. Just looking to try and get this going. Sorry, guys. Hold on. Stop. All right, hold on. So now what you have to be careful of is that if you're photosensitive at all, this can cause an epileptic seizure. So there's always that, right? But I had about 10 to 12,000 patients come into my offices. Do we have that many? No, I'd say that we probably had we had 20,000 patients come in a year, and I'd say that every once in a while, maybe 3 times in the 3 years of patients, we had people who had a epileptic seizure. We had to get them to the hospital right away. Very unpleasant, as I'm sure you guys could imagine. Oh, I want to get this. There you go. All right. So now you should be able to see this. I don't know if you can. So this is actually, let me see if I can make it right. So don't know if you can see it, but there, hopefully that helps. But this I find to be very powerful. And I love listening to hypnosis sessions with this flashing. And this works the same way as the tones do. It tends to really make the whole process a lot powerful when you're using light and sound, not just sound alone. And I find that this helps me get into a highly hypnotizable state, which is why I like it. Also puts on quite a cool color show just through your eyelids, which is kind of interesting and fun. So that is light and sound. And like I said, I have a lot of experience with light and sound just because we use them a lot in my hypnosis centers. So that's light and sound. And light and sound also, because it can get you into an alpha state, a theta state, even a delta state. Like I had friends in college. I had a friend in college who had one of the machines for insomnia because it can help you get into delta. And so I like it also because it's a great way to get into a hypnosis state. It's also a great way for review. Like if I listen to something in a theta state, I'm more likely to remember it. It's more likely to have an impact on me. So I could listen to copy while I'm in that state, and I'll have a higher retention. Now, a lot of times when I want to use my eyes, I used to have these glasses that had the glass that were clear that actually had the strobe lights up and below. So it would actually, I could actually work while the strobe lights were going, but I don't even know where that is anymore. But what I do is I listen to brain.fm, which has the binaural beats built into the music. And I find that's the easiest way to kind of use that kind of music without, when I don't have the time or the inclination to put on a pair of glasses. Let's go back to the comments. I am so grateful to have no issues with insomnia. I've had insomnia at times. It is not fun. How are you able to retain so much information? One, I'm passionate about it. Two, my memory is very selective. Like, I don't remember the TV show I watched 2 days ago at all. I don't remember so many things, but with marketing, with the stuff I read, with the stuff I think about or talk about, that I tend to remember to a very large degree. I think that comes down to priorities. And maybe over time, I've trained my brain on what it is that I want to remember versus stuff that I feel is somewhat inconsequential. And I think that most things are inconsequential. So I don't really make it a point to memorize lots of things. I think that's the whole reason to have a cell phone, computer, iPad, etc. I can always look things up. But I would say when it comes to reading, I overread. I will overprocess something. And yeah, that's what it is. Bill Boone, 20 minutes within 2 hours of bedtime, usually did it at bedtime. Yeah, that's what I do too, Bill. But that's it though. You didn't do it in the morning as well, just bedtime. He's talking about the Fisher Wallace, just to remind everyone. The Casina is a great light and sound machine by MindPlace. Good to know. I don't have the Casina. And the last light and sound machine I bought was well over a decade ago. Might even have been 20 years ago. Make out before sleep is about... Giancarlo, you are always fixated on sexual comments. Gamma is above beta. And don't know that much about Gamma. I have a Casino light and sound machine. You reminded me to get it back out and add it back into the routine. Yeah, I mean, I totally understand that. That was why doing this was actually fun for me too. Binaural beats work really well on me. I've used them to help me sleep well for about a year. Even a 30 power nap makes me feel 100% better. Yeah, I have a friend who used Newcom who would use that for like the 30-minute power naps and felt it made a huge difference for them too. I used to do a hypnosis session or two every day when I had my hypnosis center. So I'd be hooked up to the light and sound machine several times a day, do hypnosis processes. I'm sure that had a very positive effect on me then and still to this day. I mean, I've used them for a year. I haven't been sleeping for a year. I got it, man. I got it. Would you say that you have your third eye open to higher consciousness due to entrainment? I don't know. I wouldn't know. I would have to rely on the opinion of someone else. Yeah, I don't know. Rich, is Van Hoos still one of the best speakers in the world? It depends on how you define best speakers. If you're talking about speakers who are pitch people who are able to extract a lot of money from the audience, I don't know where he ranks. I don't really follow the rankings of that, but I know that he is a lot more talented at that specifically than I am by a country mile. Yeah, so he certainly is one of the top people at closing from the stage. Hi, Rich. I signed up for the Lifetime SOW a couple months ago. It's outstanding. High five. So I noticed that Ryan Michael Bello Cortex product still doesn't have auto ship on the website. Can you believe that? But he does have subscribe and save on Amazon. I recall you saying that you didn't want to talk to him about anything else in his business until he made that product to auto ship, which is probably why I haven't spoken to Ryan, actually. He's probably afraid to call me. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, it can be fun to be my friend. It can also be a pain in the ass to be my friend, because like when I know in my heart of hearts that this is going to be life-changing for a friend of mine, I don't relent, right? Like I'm relentless. And so Ryan knows that if he calls me, the first thing that I'm going to say is, "Hey, you got that auto ship going?" So I recall that you didn't want to talk to him about anything else in his business until he made the product auto ship. Why do you think we don't change the things we know we need to change? Any advice on how to identify those things and overcome them? Yeah, a lot actually. So Jeremy, what I find is that you have to, more than anything, I'd say you have to know the type of person you are. I hate dealing with details. I like, if this was my business, I would hate to have to deal with it, right? But I would also not kid myself that I would. And so I would try to hire someone as quickly as possible to get that done for me. So, this is something that I've taught for a really long time. And it's so subtle and small, but it can make a huge difference. And that is that I'm just trying to get my eyes lined up here correctly. What that is, Jeremy, is that I don't confuse what a business needs to get done, as in my business needs to get done, as my to-do list. It's not a to-do list. It's a get done list. And there's no extra points for me getting it done myself. The goal, my job as the entrepreneur, is to make sure it gets done. That's it, right? This is not fifth grade. You don't have to show your work. You don't have to do the work yourself. You just have to get it done. And so for me, a lot of those things I don't have to deal with as much anymore, because I'm clear that this needs to get done. I don't want to do it. So what am I going to do about that? Because it still needs to get done. I don't confuse me having to do it with it having to get done. And I think that too many people kind of compress the two, and now there's just avoidance. Whereas the more successful entrepreneurs recognize that there's really nothing they have to do. And so there are a lot of things that got to make sure it gets done, but there's very little, if anything, that they have to do themselves. And so that is a big shift, right? And next time I talk to Ryan, if he's not making progress on it, that might be the conversation that we have. Because, like, oftentimes I look to my friends for advice and help, and I have and appreciate it when they give it to me, and I do the same for my friends, right? Back and forth. So it's interesting though. I mean, right? Like, I can't believe that he's selling a nutraceutical and he doesn't do it on auto ship, which means that he's got no pre-built-in business. It's insane to me. Been using a software called Natural Sound Therapy for over a decade, or Natura Sound Therapy for over a decade. It also plays the 4 brainwave frequency, and nature sounds brought me back to life many times when tired, stressed, etc. Yeah, I find that one of the easiest ways to get myself really just woken up is being in front of a lot of bright light. Now, I don't know if there's any negative reason not to do that, but like right now, as I'm speaking to you, I have a very powerful light over here. You can kind of see it hitting my hand. I have another really powerful light over here. So I have 2 really powerful lights hitting me. And I find that bright light makes me happier, more energetic, and more effective. What glasses are those? Which ones are you talking about? The Mind Gear ones? These are mind-gear.com. I also have, I don't use these as frequently, but when I'm having problems like falling asleep and such, hold on. Are, blue light glasses. So we've started to change a lot of the lights in our house to Philips Hue lights and Philips Whiz lights. So we actually have, like, in our bedroom at 8 p.m., the lights in the bedroom automatically go red, because red has no blue. And so it's, less straining on the eyes, and therefore your body can start winding down. But these are from Blue Box, and these just make everything look red. But wow, that's so bizarre. I never wear glasses, so this is kind of a strange feeling. But these are blue blocks. 15 years of chronic insomnia. Ugh. Noelle, I feel for you. What have you tried? And I would just keep trying stuff. I take a cocktail at night of pills. I take L-tryptophan, 1 gram. I take a gram of magnesium. I take 500 to 750 milligrams of L-theanine. I take 3 milligrams of, or 3 grams rather, of glycine. I take 300 milligrams. Is it 300 milligrams? Yeah, I take 300 milligrams of Niagen, which is nicotide riboside, which doesn't help with sleep, but it's good for the mitochondria and energy of the body. But we'll get to that. Anyway, so we went over the light and sound machine. We went over brain.fm. We talked about that. Talked about the blocking, blue light. Wim Hof, big fan of cold showers. I can't do them here because, believe it or not, the showers don't get cold enough in New York. Not a problem. So until I figure out a better solution, and it's not high on my list of things I want to be exploring right now, the cold showers, I'm not doing as much as I used to, but nonetheless, very powerful. Next thing, and then I want to make sure that I hit all the supplements that I really feel like have made the most difference, is something I just recently learned, something that we're doing at Strategic Profits now. And for any of you who have a team, this comes so highly recommended, and we've only been doing it for a couple of days now, so I can't really say it's been life-changing for our business, but I believe it will be. And that is, we created a Slack channel. Well, so Matt Stafford from Build, Grow, and Scale shared this with me. At Build, Grow, and Scale, every new employee has to log into the Slack channel, in Slack, a channel named Gratitude. And for the first 30 days, and they have to do it 30 days consistently, not on the weekends, but work days. And if they miss a work day, they then have to start the 30 days over again. But once they've done 30 days, they can stop if they want to, but very few people do stop. And they have to list 3 things that they're grateful for each day in the Slack channel: what they're grateful for personally, what they're grateful for professionally, and what they're grateful for, like, about themselves. And so I'm doing it with my team, and it's been lots of fun. Happiness is one of the best productivity hacks that you can have. When you're in a better mood, you think better, you have more energy, etc. So you can think about this as a hack to get everyone in the company a little bit happier. It's also a way to create a lot more bonding because we get to know one another so much better. I didn't know that my assistant was ambidextrous. I don't know that I would have ever known that unless we, except in this gratitude channel. So let's see. I think it would be, I don't think it would be right of me to share any of the teams what they're grateful for, but I certainly can share mine. So, like this morning, I wrote personal life. I am grateful for living in Florida, where we are free to live our lives without over-controlling politicians dictating what we are allowed, quote unquote, and not allowed, quote unquote, to do. Professional life. I am grateful that we finally recorded the last piece of the Groove SOW deliverable, because I believe that Groove will be able to sell a lot of Steal Our Winners. So I'm super excited about that. And then personal quality gratitude. I am grateful that it's so easy for me to fast. At that time, I had already been going 33 hours and going strong. But the idea of everyone on the team doing this in a Slack channel allows for everyone else. It's like the whole team is going out to the bar every day after work to bond and hang out. I mean, we're getting to know each other on a much deeper level where, it's a good thing. And I strongly recommend it to anyone that has a team, whether, obviously we are all in different places, my team. And so it doesn't matter whether you're all in one building or you're spread out throughout the world. A Slack channel where when I brought it to my team and asked them what they thought, they were all gung ho about doing it. No one was giving it any and so I was really happy about that. It makes me feel really good. All right. The software is now discontinued, but you can find it online. It is now primarily available on iOS and Android. I recommend it to everyone. Which software is that, Renan? Oh, Natural Sound Therapy. Got it. All right. What's Rich, I meant to delete it. Oops, too late. Okay. Hey, Rich, a simple hack. Oh, Alan Bedard. I discovered to stay in flow longer and sleep faster. I want to hear this. My average is 4 to 5 hours a night. Yeah, you're a machine, though. Is that I trained myself from around 10 years old to study and sleep with relatively loud music. Seems that as soon as I hear the music, my brain realizes it's out of flow or deep sleep, and I can get into flow and deep sleep again. Okay. Oh, I get it. So you're good at blocking out the sound, and therefore when you can hear the sound, you know. Is that it, Alan? I think that's what you're saying here. I generally find it easier to read, study, and learn in a crowd. Like I like sounds around me, activity around me, as opposed to complete silence. I think that's my ADD brain. It's also the reason why my preference is to read on the elliptical machine as opposed to sitting in a chair, because I'm getting to use my whole body, so I'm active. That is not a simple hack, though, Alan. It might be, well, it's simple. It certainly is not easy because most of us can't go back in time. But yeah, that is interesting. You look cool on red glasses. Thanks, my friend. Glycine. You take True Niagen at night. I take it in the morning. Bad idea. No, I think you're supposed to take it in the morning, Noel. I take it both in the morning and at night. I don't know if that's really stupid. Maybe that's what's waking me up at 1 o'clock in the morning. But I am a big believer in doing everything I can to make sure that my NAD is high. And so I take this, right, which True Niagen. And I also take NMM and anything I can, you know. I don't take niacin, though, although niacin is in some of the energy drink powder stuff that I will use if I'm doing a heavy workout. Rich, have you ever tried No Pep? Yes, I've taken No Pep for years, and it's part of my stack. But I run out of it. I take it, like, I don't really notice anything specific to No Pep, so I can't tell you whether or not it's had a profound effect on me or not, but I do take it. I do take it. Happy attracts more happiness. Totally true. Rich, is it okay to pitch just 2 to 3 times a month, but emailing every day, of course? Or is that just a bad idea? I think you should pitch a lot more than 2 to 3 times a month. Why would you only pitch 2 to 3 times a month? I think giving people value is extremely important, but that seems like a little bit out of whack. That seems like too much value, not enough sale. The secret of being grateful is the feeling behind in which will attract more of that feeling. The secret of being grateful is the feeling behind it, which will attract more of that feeling. Partly. The other part is that when you know that every day, when you first show up to work, you got to produce 3 things that you're grateful for, right? Your personal life, work life, and some personal quality that you have. Well, guess what happens? What happens is that you start to notice for that more. Just like when I was talking about goal setting and getting clear at what it is, and then getting very clear about what you should be noticing for, because what you notice for dictates your attention, and whatever has your attention determines the quality of your life at that moment. So when you are focused on being alert for things to be grateful for, your attention is on that gratitude, and therefore what you attend your mind to at any given moment is your reality. Yeah, that's it. Got it. Cool. All right. So we talked about gratitude, cold showers, blocking blue light, green light, Brain FM, light and sound machine, Juve, the Aura Ring, which is probably I'm a huge fan of. All right, let's talk about some quick things that should be obvious to everyone. Exercise, right? I don't know how you'd have, if you don't exercise on a daily basis, on a consistent basis, I don't know what the hell you think you're doing. If you spend your day sitting all day and you're not active, you need to, your body was meant to move and you need to move. You know, they say sitting is the new smoking, right? Most of us sit way too much. And exercise, you know, we don't even have to, you think better, you are happier, you feel better, you have more energy. I mean, the number of benefits from exercise are insane. So that I don't think I want to spend a lot of time on. The next thing I want to spend some time on, though, and maybe we should do a whole live stream about this at some point, is that is knowing what is fun for you, and not fun in a passive manner, like, oh, I enjoy watching a movie, right? But fun things that you, if you had slotted on your calendar, you'd actually look forward to doing it like all day. I find that a lot of entrepreneurs, especially successful ones, start to really limit the amount of things that they do until ultimately they have a hard time answering, what do you do for fun? And I did a post on my blog about 15 years ago about fun. And let's see, like fun. And I crowdsourced it, right? I asked everyone, I listed my 20 top fun activities, asked other people to list their top 20. And I think we made a list of like over 1,000 activities that people thought were fun. Giancarlo, sex was one of them. So this is the one place where your comment would actually make some sense. I know I have it somewhere. If I can find it, if I can find that PDF of all these fun activities, I will. I'm just going to write that down too. But one of the top productivity secrets is that have a reason to get your work done fast. If you have no reason to get your work done fast, then why would you want to get your work done fast? It just seems like you're racing to boredom. If you don't have any fun activities, right? It's very easy to spend too much time working. If you spend too much time working, then what happens is that your effectiveness and productivity actually go down. When I used to work one-on-one with a lot of entrepreneurs, one of the ways that I would boost their productivity is by slashing the number of hours they worked to a ridiculously low level. And that was because I wanted them to get a visceral, embodied, right? So I wanted it to be emotional and I wanted it to be inside. I wanted them to experience it, what true productivity feels like. Because if you're 20% productive, like 1 out of every 5 hours, you're really rocking and rolling, which is not that low, believe it or not, comparatively to how most people are in the world, you don't even understand what 80% is. You have no concept of what 80% is, or 90%. And so what I would do with the entrepreneurs I was working with is we'd cut their hours down to like 2 hours a day. That's all you're allowed to do. That's all you're allowed to work is just 2 hours. You got to figure out some fun activities like tennis and this and that, because you're only going to work 2 hours. First day, they get very little work done. Second day, they don't get that much more work done. But at some point in that week, someone comes over to them and asks them, or they get a text message or a phone call, and they don't answer it. They don't answer back because they only got this 2 hour window. And that's when they are starting to make decisions like a highly productive person. There is a difference between like time that you waste and free time that you maximize and enjoy. We want to limit as great as possible wasted time. We want to limit that and then make ourselves as productive as possible so that we get more free time to have fun, to enjoy with our friends and family. Friends, obviously, extremely important when it comes to having fun as well, although you can have fun by yourself and, you know, with your family or whomever else. But having a wide circle of friends is incredibly valuable. And, you know, oftentimes more and more, Kim and I will have different people over at our house and have, you know, my friend Mike Zappi, who I just placed as the first psychedelic guru at Agora. So congratulations, Zappi. He has a new documentary coming out. So to screen it, like I invited Glenn Ledwell and Stephanie, Mike Filsain and Michelle, Chris Brisson, Mark Ford, and a bunch of others over the house to watch it. And it was fun, right? So having friends with shared interests. But these things are critical. And really, if you don't have a life that you want to get to, then your life becomes about your business. And that's not where any entrepreneur really wants to be. No matter how successful you are, it will lead to a life of disappointment and aloneness. And that's not where you want to be. And so building a life outside of your business that then forces you to get stuff done in your business so that you can go and enjoy life, in my opinion, is critical. All right, so let's just talk about some drugs, right? Like, what are the drugs that I take? Let's see here. Thanks, Rich. Got it all done, but not by me. I told my doc that I've been having trouble with focus. She wants to put me on Wellbutrin. What do you think? I don't know. I mean, you know, Wellbutrin is, it was I think it was started as an antidepressant, if I remember correctly. And then they found out that it actually also helps people with stopping smoking, which is not that shocking because more than 50% of chronic smokers are actually self-medicating themselves out of a low-grade depression. That's why that's what the research has found. This is not my just coming up with nonsense. So it could be, Wellbutrin is used for ADD. Definitely worth trying out, you know. Definitely not an expert, and I don't want to second guess your doctor, but you know, I had for the longest time like this weird kind of egotistical kind of reluctance to take a drug, even though like in my 20s, I took tons of street drugs and I'm like, this doesn't really make sense. If there's something that makes me feel better, perform better, etc., why wouldn't I take that? Rich, do you supplement with green drinks? No, I don't supplement with green drinks, but I don't know if you can see it. I totally forgot about this. I'm glad you asked, Jason. But the machine all the way in the back there, like where my finger is right now, that machine I bought from Japan, I think like 15 years ago. And it's a long time ago. I had that when I lived in New York. So it's actually more than 20 years ago. I have a picture of that in my apartment in New York. Anyway, that is a alkalizer. What it does, it takes water. It's hooked up to my tap, and it will split water. It hits water with electricity. It turns one stream. There are two streams. One stream is highly acidic, and it's actually pretty cool because if I cut my face shaving or something, I can use the acid water, and it will cauterize the wound really quick. You know, it'll stop bleeding. The other output is highly alkaline water. So the water I drink is not at a pH of 7. The water I drink is at like 9.4, which is higher than like alkaline water that you can buy in a store. And I think the alkalinity of water goes down over time if it sits on a shelf. I think I could be wrong. So I have a machine that alkalizes my body just because of the amount of water I drink, which is a lot. And it's all beefed higher alkaline. I refuse to be at a desk longer than 45 minutes. Wow. Then what? Is that all you work? Or do you then do something and then come back in 15 minutes? Like, that's a pretty wide open statement, John Bowers. Fun stuff like kitchen dance parties to relieve those sit-a-thon work hours. totally agree. You know, there's a big difference between being childish and childlike. And I always try to be childlike, not childish. And so I fool around a lot with my family. I will do weird things, fun things, silly things all the time. And it makes me feel better, right? It makes me laugh, giggle, stuff like that. I'd love to see that fun list. Okay, yeah, so we'll find that. That is so me. Rich, do you listen to Ed Milet? I really recommend. He's inspirational. I listen to him every morning. No, I don't even know who Ed Milet is. Who is Ed Milet? I'm writing it down, though. I will check him out. Nice. I need that productive limit time in my life. It's really pretty straightforward, Deb. I mean, if you are willing to be true to the limits, like in other words, if you're only going to work X number of hours that day, you really only work those amount of hours. And that forcing you to be productive because you don't have time to waste is very powerful. And then after you get to a place where 80% of your time consistently, let's say, is highly productive, you would then, like Weight Watchers or any diet and maintenance, you slowly start adding calories, or if you're on the Atkins diet, you slowly start adding carbs until you're at homeostasis. Same here. You'd add a half an hour to the amount of time you work, as long as you're maintaining that high effectiveness rate, as long, you just maintain the rate that you want, and you could always go down and up. Where can we get that water? You have to buy an alkalizing machine. And I bought it, like I said, 20 years ago. I don't know if, like, in the last 20 years, a bunch of research has come out that it will kill you or that it's the best thing since sliced bread. I really have no idea. I mean, I got really into the alkaline green drinks and all that about 30 years ago. And when I was in Japan and saw the water machine, I was like sold on it, and then figured out a way to get it here. And I know that they sell them here now, so I think it's relatively easy. This reminds me of the Wait But Why. Oh, I love that guy. Post on procrastination where he says the worst time is during the wasted time because you can't enjoy yourself. I think he calls it dark playground. Yeah, and that's it. And there have been many times in my life where I've spent a lot of time in that dark playground where I couldn't fully enjoy myself because I was procrastinating on something important, but I also wasn't getting it done. So therefore, it's just vapid, empty, meaningless, and not inspiring. And it sucks. It sucks because you're not getting any work done and you're not having fun. So you're just really wasting your life. And I totally understand that because there have been times in my life where I spent way too much time in that space. Take a break, walk, do chores, anything to get moving, and a brief break from work. Got it. And then, so for how long? Like 15 minutes, John? And then you go back to work like for another 45? If that's it, it's like it's like a Pomodoro, except a little bit longer. Hey, Rich, a few years ago, I read the Internet Marketing Manifesto, and that same year, I built and sold a six-figure business. Congrats to you, Dan. These days, I'm the co-owner of a seven-figure business in the personal development space, Mike Gillette. Oh, okay. .com. All of this I attribute largely to how you helped me change the way I approach business. So thank you very much for the life-changing information. Is there any way to work with you directly? There might be shortly. I mean, when we roll out the coaching program, which will be in about a month or so, there will be. So Dan, if you're not on our list, make sure to get on our list. And I would imagine that we'll probably give preference to Steal Our Winners subscribers. It happens to be a great program as well, Steal Our Winners, but probably at least the first cohort will probably be Steal Our Winners subscribers. So check out Steal Our Winners as well. And but yeah, there will be, we're going to roll out the coaching program. I think there'll be two different levels. There'll be a level where, you can work with me in the Q&A format with everyone else. So I will be taking everyone through a process, but we'll be doing plenty of Q&As where you can ask me questions. That's in a group format. But then there will be a higher level where you participate in all the education and the group stuff. But then we also have private time one-on-one. Mark Canty's in the house. Let's see. So Dan, thanks for the comment and kind of positive testimonial there, and would love, and congratulations on your success. And I would love it if you would Stay in touch. Join our Facebook group. It's strategicprofits.com. It's totally free. And there you will definitely get all the information that you need as far as my coaching program when we roll it out again. There are, okay, Mark Ganny says there are numerous alkaline water dispensers on the market. Cool. Yeah. So mine uses electricity to do that. I don't know if there's any other way to do that, but I feel it makes a difference. But, you know, remember that like my body is strange. And so, you know, there's very little things. There are very few things that I like, oh my God. This is not an oh my God thing, but I have to attribute some of my health to that, I think. Ed Milet does a lot of biz owner interviews, startups, etc. I learned a lot from his shows on leadership. Cool. Well, then I will check him out. Ed Milet, huh? Cool. Rich, any hacks on the ADD brain that only wakes up and turns on at a deadline or crisis time, needing that adrenaline? Yeah, it's about putting your situations in where you need that adrenaline. That's one of the easiest things, right? So I find that it's always good to race a clock, right? Like only allowing a certain amount of time to work on a task kind of forces me to kind of race that like deadline, the mini deadline. You know, obviously like the bigger stuff, like I've sold everything I've ever created, I sold first. So I would have to disappoint a lot of people and ruin my reputation if I didn't. You know, taking my laptop someplace where I know I'm not going to, you know, with no outlet. So I'm going to run out of power. And so now I'm racing that clock. It's more stuff about creating these artificial reasons why I need to be very focused for limited periods of time. I also find working with mind maps is a really helpful way to get myself organized at the beginning of the day. And I would say that I'd also say that, and you know, Denise, this is, you got to figure out where the problem is. And what I mean by that is, for me, it's task initiation. So for me, I can, once I'm working on something, it's really easy to maintain that. I'll drift into a flow state pretty quickly. What's difficult for me is initiating, like starting stuff. Like when this call ends, right? Or when this live stream ends, I'm just looking at what I have on my calendar. If I have something on my calendar, I will get right to work on that thing, right? Like someone to talk to, something to do there. But if I don't have anything on my calendar, like then I want to go play. I want to go bother Kim, annoy her in some way that's fun for me, you know, just like poking at her, play with Elle, my youngest daughter, if she's around, and just get into trouble. And so today I have a call with Teddy and Matt at 4 p.m. So I won't be able to play. And that's another way of like making sure that there are easy ways to kind of glide into work, if that makes sense. The other thing is that, and I think I've shared this before, Denise, but it applies here as well, that you can't know whether you feel like doing something unless you're doing the thing, right? There's a difference between doing something and starting to do something. I know with myself, I don't like starting to do something. I like doing things. I just don't like starting, right? Like when I am like, let's say Mike, like I went over to Mike Filsane's house to watch the UFC on Saturday night. Before I got in the car, I really didn't want to go. I wanted to go. I made plans earlier, right? But when it was time to leave, I'm sitting on the couch, like whatever, right? Like it wasn't that I didn't want to be there. I did want to be there. I just didn't want to go there, right? And same with exercise, right? I enjoy exercising. Once I'm exercising, I feel great. Starting to exercise seems kind of unpleasant. Starting to write seems kind of unpleasant. Starting to a lot of things to me seems rather unpleasant. So knowing that about myself, I recognize that what I'm feeling right now is not that I don't want to do this. It's that I don't want to start this. And so how can I like glide into this easier? Can I start with someone else? Can I get someone else to start it and then hand it off to me? Can I be working with someone and start it? Like just having their presence around me helps. It's kind of crazy, but all those things do help me, and I hope they help you too, Denise. Hey, Mark Walker. We'll definitely check that out. Thanks, Rich. Well, thank you once again, Dan, for the compliment. It seems like the habit of stagnating and not being effective is rooted at a young age when we were forced to sit in school all day, wasting time. Totally could be. You know, I mean, school teaches us, besides critical thinking and, you know, valuable stuff, it also teaches us how to be good little factory workers. Rich, do you watch TikTok sometimes, and do you like it? No, I haven't gotten. I don't watch TikTok very much. I watch YouTube, and I'll watch YouTube Shorts. Alkaline water is still very good for you. Hydrogenated water is better per research. This is hydrogenated too. Well, it's oxygenated, whatever. But good to know. Santiva makes alkaline water. Santiva products gravity water system. Thanks, Mark. Who needs Pokemon when you can play Let's Poke and like Kim? Exactly my point. Dylan is an alkaline water bottle on Amazon 9 plus pH. Yeah, but do you want to be buying bottled water? Especially I drink gallons. School teaches us how to stand in line. That is true. I'm so the same. Can't start, can't stop, can't go to bed, can't get out of bed. Are you a Scorpio? No, I'm a Pisces because my birthday is in 4 days. All right, so let's talk about like substances, chemicals, stuff like that. Yeah, so I already said I take True Niagen. Here's the bottle. This is the 300 milligram one. This is expensive. And my doctor says I should take it, so I take it. I trust my doctor. Oh, I forgot about this. We can go over this another time. I have two of these. These are Muse. They're EEGs. When I meditate, this tracks my brainwaves, so I can see how effective I'm being at meditating. So I'll cover that another time. So, okay. So this is bromantane. This is probably like if I have a guest over and they feel tired and sluggish and they ask me of all the things that I have, and I have a ridiculous number of things, what would I recommend they take? In fact, Joseph Riggio who's texting me right now. He was over at my house and I gave him a bottle of this. He tried it. He felt it like within 5 minutes. He's like, well, I'm not sure I'm going to love this or not, so I might be bringing it back. And I'm like, that's fine. But this is bromantane, bromantane. It is a very unique substance. It's a stimulant that's also an anti-anxiety, which is very rare, right? Because generally these work against one another. Everyone who I've, because I have like a ridiculous body as far as like what will impact me and what won't, I'm very careful not to like bust out other stuff to give to people because I don't want to put them in a hospital or ruin their day. Like I will take like 200 milligrams of this. Most people, I'll say, just take 50 milligrams of this. But this is probably, if you were looking for a stimulant that didn't make you feel anxious, that helped you kick some serious ass during the day, bromantane would be the one that I would recommend. I generally don't recommend people take, like who are over at my house, 9-ME-BC. And the reason I don't is because this is stronger, right? And it's not so much a stimulant. This is about regenerating dopamine receptors in the hippocampus. And this is 9-ME-BC, 9-ME-BC. I take this partly because of the amount of drugs I abused in my 20s, and anything that supposedly rebuilds dopamine receptors has my interest. So that is 9-ME-BC. Both bromantane and 9-ME-BC I get from science.bio. Science.bio is where I get it. This is Adderall. when I take it, like I didn't take it today. But when I take the 30 milligram time released. Believe it or not, I feel the time released more than I feel the all-in-one shot. I don't know what that's about. Also, little known fact, anything that boosts your alkalinity will also boost the performance of Adderall. You want to, I shouldn't even say this because it's dangerous, but if you want to really maximize the power of Adderall, if you take Adderall or anything like that, try it with a Tums like 15 minutes before you take the Adderall. You'll then alkalize your stomach, and then the breakdown of the Adderall will be slowed down. It's something that hardcore users know well. The first time I experienced that, I was taking coral calcium about like 12 or 13 years ago when I was taking Adderall daily, and it like multiplied my Adderall, like the effects. So I was like sleeping 2 hours a day, and I was like, this just does not seem, and the only thing different I had done was take this coral calcium, and I'm like, something is not right here. Like, I feel fantastic. In fact, I feel better than fantastic. I'm sleeping like 2 hours a night. There's something really strange here. And when I asked a psychiatrist that I just happened to be flying on a plane with about coral calcium, who I'd already told earlier that I had ADD, he said, "Are you taking Adderall?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, well, calcium will intensify or multiply the effectiveness of Adderall. So that's probably what you're doing." And I was like, "Oh, geez, okay, got to stop that." Yeah, I don't take Adderall daily, but I do like having it around. I find it to be very effective, especially since I don't take it daily for when I need it. Really power through stuff. It does get me hyper focused. I can still get like into stuff that I shouldn't. So if I'm going to take Adderall and do a real power session, I want to try and put myself in a place where I can't go down any rabbit hole, because I could just as easily go down a rabbit hole with full intensity, right? And that's not what I want to do. I want to get the work done that I want to get done. So I will often like maybe turn off the Wi-Fi on my computer, or just take a pad and pen and do my work by hand. But I try to avoid putting myself in situations where I could be easily distracted when I'm on Adderall. And then this is, like I said, this is modafinil. This is the, well, this is generic, I guess. I used to get Provigil directly. And this is an off-label drug for ADD, but also is very useful for focus. When I started taking these drugs a long time ago, and that's why I don't take them as much anymore, is that it got excessive. I found that I went from 30 milligrams of Adderall to 60 milligrams of Adderall to 90 milligrams of Adderall to 120 milligrams of Adderall daily. I went from 100 milligrams of Provigil to 400 milligrams of Provigil. So I was at one time I was taking 120 milligrams, right? 60 milligrams of Adderall in the morning, 60 milligrams of Adderall in the afternoon, 200 milligrams of Provigil in the morning, 200 milligrams of Provigil in the afternoon. And I wasn't feeling anything. And the doctor was like, "We could go higher." And I'm like, "I don't want to go higher. I feel this is dangerous. I'm just going to quit." And I quit cold turkey. And then I stayed off it for like about 2 years. And then ever since then, I've been back on it, but nowadays, I don't take it daily, and when I take it, I'll take like 30 milligrams of Adderall, and 100 milligrams of Provigil, and that is enough. Let's see what we got here. See what you guys have to see here. Happy birthday. Maybe it's your rising. Maybe. Task initiation trick. Lie to yourself and say, "I will work for 5 minutes." By the time 5 minutes is up, you are in flow. Totally agree. Love Muse, but at night it requires Wi-Fi and stuff in your ears. Yeah, I don't meditate at night. I do it during the day. Do you have a list, a handout? Not today, I don't, but I will. We'll create something. And perfect timing. Didn't do a video today, which means that I will have to do one on Thursday, and I will probably have to do one later this evening. Want to thank each and every one of you for being here. I hope this was educational for you guys. If not, at least it was hopefully interesting. you know, the bottom line is that everything I do is based on how do I make an entrepreneur, or how do I help entrepreneurs become as effective as they can be. And a lot of that has to do, like my coaching program is all about that. And if you're not trying to maximize how you perform as a person, as a human being, then you'll never be the best entrepreneur you could be. And so getting enough sleep, making sure you have some fun, and really taking care of your health, critically important. And oh, I forgot to mention this, but we can always talk about this another time. These are psilocybin from the guy that wears the mushroom hat on Rogan. And this comes from my friend. Well, I shouldn't mention their names, so I will leave it at that. But what's the guy's name? I forget anyway. But I have taken a break from those at times, and you know, when I don't feel I need it, not I ever need it, but when I don't feel like it's really doing anything for me, and then I'll get back on it afterwards. And so I just taken a break, and we'll probably go back on it like right before my birthday or something. And so, as you can see, I do a lot of different shit, right? Everything from the Fisher Wallace to the light, to the light and sound, to crazy amounts of substances. But it's my hobby too. I really get off on it. I enjoy experimenting on myself. And then seeing what helps, what hurts, what doesn't make any difference, etc. So with that, guys, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. If you found it interesting, I'm glad you did. If you found it boring, I apologize for that. Let's see who else is here before I say goodbye. My pleasure, Angel. Thank you, Tiana. Do I do yoga? No, I don't do enough. I'd like to do yoga. And as I think I get my business back where I want it to be, I'll have more free time, and then I will get back to things like yoga. You know, I'm rebuilding my business right now. So that, not that takes up all my time, but certainly I'm in a startup mode right now, and that's exciting for me. So when I'm in this mode at this stage, and I have the right support around me, like my assistant Sandra, my game starts to improve and improve and improve, and I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And so actually I have to tear myself away from work more so than you know, force myself to work, but that changes as the business improves. Thanks, Bill. And thanks for sharing that you were part of the Fisher Wallace study. That's really cool. Nice series of hacks. Thanks you, Dr. Vogelman. Thank you, Renan. Thank you, Amigo, for calling me a rock star. Because there is a special muse for the night to help sleep, but for me, it's nonsense with Wi-Fi and earphones. Here, you know, both of my muses, I guess I have the older ones. I have the version 1, version 2, but I didn't get version 3 because I don't use it at night. Great live stream, Rich. It would be cool to have part 2. Well, we can make that happen. Hit me up when you get to San Diego. No, that won't happen, Chris. If we don't plan something before I go, we will not meet because my time will be like back to back to back. I'm not going to have like lots of downtime there. So let's make plans before I go, and we'll make them tentative plans so that like if things get wonky, we can alter it. But I'm afraid if we don't make plans, Dr. Vogelman, we will not see each other. Very nice. Thanks, says Denise. It's about getting started. Like Stephen Pressfield said, that's the game. I love this topic. I totally agree, Denise. I love each and every one of you for being here. I want to appreciate those of you who shared or gave a thumbs up or commented. Thank you so much. Makes this more of a community, or at least a conversation, and not just me ranting and raving. And I will see everyone on Thursday. Like I said, I'll be cutting out early, but either Matt will pick up for me, or he'll do the whole thing and I'll just pop on and say hi to everyone. So that's it, guys. Some really cool stuff happening at Steal Our Winners. I know I say that all the time, but it's true. And I look forward to sharing that stuff with you shortly. And if I don't see you Thursday, then the next time I see you, I will be 50. And just wish I had started to try and grow my hair back earlier, because then my hair would be more. And but the hair is growing back, and when I'm like maybe 6 months in or 8 months in, we'll show before and afters and see what the difference looks like. So that's it. So until Thursday or until Tuesday, to Higher Profits and Beyond, Rich Sheffrin over and out.